The Joe Rogan Experience.
If somebody's saying something, go in and say, no, the word, you don't have to start throwing around these words. It has nothing even to do with the topic. They're just, that's the way they express themselves.
Well, it's like the way people disagree about things can change, like the way they communicate their disagreement can change how it gets resolved, but what always happens is if you go hard, they go hard back. And I think we're dealing with that back and forth in this country. And what I was going to say is about this March for Our Lives, is that what I'm seeing that's very confusing to me is from people who are gun supporters, like the NRA supporters, who, and some of them have even mocked these kids for getting attention by going to these marches and stuff like that. And they're saying that nobody would have heard of you or nobody would know who you are. Like, this is a ridiculous way to look at it. It's very defensive because they're feeling like someone's coming after their guns. So they're going on the attack in some ways that's just really not recommended. Like the way they're doing. It
makes me numb.
They're mocking what the reason would be for these kids to be on TV that got shot at. These kids that got shot at. And they're fucking 16 years old, and they're going to be on TV. And someone's mocking. No one would know who you were if it wasn't for this thing. Like, yeah, of course. But they went through that fucking thing. They're the few kids that have gone through this thing in the country that are standing on the public stage and saying, look at us. You got to do something. You can't have the same shit happen over and over and over again. And maybe they don't have the most complicated solution, but they're right, and they're forcing people to talk. And if anybody should be forcing people to talk, it's the kids that were around their friends that got shot, who realized their fucking parents are working all day and they come home tired and no one's going to fix nothing. No one has the time. And the politicians are all in bed with the NRA and all these different organizations as if they're on the left, and everybody's beholden to their special interest groups. So these kids are seeing all this shit and they know nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. More kids are going to get shot. More kids are going to get shot. And then what do the NRA people do? They mock these kids. That's crazy.
At what point doesn't someone pull you aside and go, I don't believe in violence, obviously, in relationships, but in the old movies when somebody would have to, stop!
Backhand, right?
Yeah,
that's
just
the best.
Stop!
Full disdain for any retaliation. You're not even trying to hit someone with the best part.
Just, psh.
You hit someone with the back of your hand. The back of your hand is generally more sensitive. It's like it hurts. Like if you hit someone in the back of your hand, you can hurt your hand. Like I know a lot of guys who've broken their hands in a fight because they hit someone with a spinning back fist with the back of their hand. It's not protected. So that's just letting someone know I'm so
and by the way,
of you.
Since we were just saying how to be more peaceful, what I'm saying is when somebody, it doesn't even mean I'm not saying don't have a conversation and don't disagree. Of course I'm not. We're saying the person that wants to shake you and stop you is once you start making fun of these kids. Someone even that agrees with you that there shouldn't be any, isn't there someone on that side that can go, stop? And I guess there are, but when they say, you should learn, see, Rick, what's his name? Rick, the guy who said if the kids should, instead of looking for someone else to solve their problems, they should learn CPR. Rick Santorum.
Yeah.
That makes you not like.
That doesn't even make sense if he actually said that.
No,
that
because
doesn't even make sense.
Doctors were tweeting it brilliantly, like that's like. So you're saying John Lennon would be alive if Yoko Ono knew CPR? Is that what you're saying, Rick?
Yeah, you just got to use CPR to repair that blown out liver.
And they explained that to him. But then, you talk about combating kids. I thought that was a great way. Just some really clean tweets from doctors, breaking it down very cleanly. This would not, it doesn't even make any sense.
Rick Santorum is a Republican?
Uh-huh.
So there you go. If I could just stop, just say one thing I really feel like is really important to this. I think both the people on the right and the people on the left have way more in common than they have apart. And I think that a lot of the battle that people on the left have is they've chosen to be on the left, the same with people on the right. They've chosen to be on the right. So anything that happens on the left, they completely disagree with. They immediately go, oh, that's a left-wing liberal idea. And they just have these little back and forths with each other that are completely unnecessary. I think the majority of people just want everybody to get along, not have crime.